Yo, we locked in the raw and the rotten apple, and we locked in the core. That tough act and get a round of applause. When ghetto laws get followed and broke. You can't hang or shorten your rope. For stash holes, I slashed holes inside of my coat. Stripes make you official, and now the image can mimic. They couldn't really be in it if you was British. And consignment, running it back, I need a Heisman. All hands is clocked in, we on timing. We can shoot the power of
Yeah,
nobody cares.
this is Point Black.
What's done is how you
Coming in
define
hard and off the card. Young talent coming in. You know what I'm saying? Peeping on their young talent all the time. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, we have to check out the local talents in the boom bap game as well. Very important that we do. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna be picking up where we left off the last time. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna look into some of what they saying based on Donald J. Trump and his joint. You know what I'm saying? So we don't wanna really get caught up in it, but we have to look at the investigative understanding of what they're saying because it's to me it's no more than a charade in itself. You know, as to they saying this and they're saying that, and most of what to me seem to have been done in most of the cases in itself does not hold no merit for the public to really be interested in that. More so, what is interesting is that these charges, what I'm saying, and the game that was played based on even when it came to the pandemic and the vaccines and different shit, you know what I mean? To where they bombard us with a whole lot of, you know, a whole lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. Even when we look right here, we even seeing stories talking about his Donald Trump tried to prank call the New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, younger brother from the White House. Foolishness at its best. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. But the case of where they're even talking about, this fraud case in many ways doesn't really make much sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Even when we look at Donald Trump gets good news from his union voters, which is a good thing to hear. You know what I'm saying? But when we even look at the whole thing to do with like even when we look at the judge and he's now slapped Donald Trump with a $5,000 gag order. You know what I'm saying? But the case doesn't hold no merit. Coming in by it look like uh, what and or whatever published on October 31st PST, Pacific Standard Time, October 23, you know what I'm saying, 2023. You know what I'm saying? In a recent turn of events, you know what I'm saying, in the continuing civil fraud trial in New York. But the fraud trial still doesn't make any sense because why did the DA or the Attorney General or whoever, including Alan Braggs, attack him with Stormy Daniels first of all? That's the first case. Now that case really doesn't make much sense to me because it doesn't matter what campaign funds or this has been used or that has been used. It still doesn't make any sense as to what you're trying to charge him with based when it came to Stormy Daniels. Now Judge Joe Brown brought forth a great point in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? But I still think you brought it up at a time when it seems to be under a personal attack or personal vendetta against the standing president who was president of the United States that you cheat him out of in his reelection bid. But at the same time, in the case, you know what I'm saying, it happened quite a long time ago. Because I remember the case, and I remember when they had the news thing going on about him even touching a woman and so on and so on and so on. You know what I mean? You know, maybe he was doing the Freemason thing, I don't know. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, at the same time, you know, it was very long ago these cases were. So the criminal act in the matter to me is why would you bring it up at a time like this and make it publicized and political is a very good question. Now, when you look at Stormy Daniels and they're trying to say that he used campaign funds to do this and do that, but it doesn't matter what the campaign funds were used because in the fact of him already being a rich man and also, you know what I'm saying, could have paid that money out of his own account, but must have used campaign funds according to you, which still haven't shown any trueness in itself based on any case to bring forward. Because if he used campaign funds, he could have easily replaced the campaign funds with his own money, probably. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, if Stormy Daniels was paid out of campaign funds, you know what I'm saying? Well, on campaign funds used for many different things, probably even a dinner, you know what I'm saying? The man is on the campaign run, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it still seems like there's no merit, no water, nor no case based on anything to use to hold up time to the scandalization of Donald J. Trump. Now, when we look at um, Letitia James, her case seems criminal as well, in many shapes or forms, even to be on the case in the first matter at all. Because from what we've seen in many of the clips, based on Letitia James and her bullshit, you know what I'm saying, we see where she's talking about him inflating his network or whatever the case may be based on, you know what I'm saying, him frauding and so forth on. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why Letitia James is not legitimate for the case is because as an attorney general, and we should say a demon democratical LGBTQ nutcase general, you know what I'm saying, in New York or whatever, bringing this his personal business case to the news at a time in the political heat race of these 4 years, based off of prior to the 4 years that has now gone down, you know what I'm saying, with creep Joe Biden in there with his cheating ass, you know what I'm saying, you bring this case. And then it's political and politicized. And prior to the case being in this matter, shows a vendetta and a vengeance by an attorney general. That prior to all the matter that we saw, she was campaigning when she was running for whatever she was running for and using Donald Trump as her campaign slogan. So her vendetta on Donald J. Trump did not start or have any legality of understanding legal and justification of action in the court of law, pro se. She was out there campaigning to get this man as if she had a vengeance on him. And then when she became, or whatever she became, attorney general or is whatever, she brought that same matter into her job. And then later on, when the evidence was shown based on my brother dropping that joint, thank you for dropping that, because that's good reporting, you know what I'm saying? She tried to change the whole idea and say that she didn't have no vendetta, no vengeance. Respectfully investigating cases of old, especially as well, with the vendetta in this matter all the way through. So she's no good for the case because she has literally contaminated the process, the due process, or the process of the court. It's infected. Now, when we look at this one, we say it's recent events that continue with the fraud trial in New York against the former President Donald J. Trump, Justice whatever his name, Arthur Igor, you know what I'm saying, and Goran, or whatever his name is, fines Trump $5,000 for breaking a gag order. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the case has no merit as to the charges that you are bringing up. Even when we look that the so whatever he's talking about, you know what I'm saying, from criticizing the court staff, this action comes while Trump, you know what I'm saying, embroiled in numerous legal disputes on numerous fronts. But most of the legal dispute, even in this personal issue, should not have came up in a politicized or in during a re-campaign or a campaign coming up in 2024. And it's contaminated all over by demon democratical appointees. So the whole case and the matter with Trump needs to be thrown out of court until further issue or further matters. Because none of them hold any merit to me, even with the classified documents. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the beginning, you said it was Donald Richard, classified documents, red warrants, you running up in the man mansion, all this damn shit, bullshit you were showing us, and yada, 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 yada. You know what I'm saying? Like the country needed to be focused on that bullshit at all. And then you go up in there and you use a warrant based on the governmental game or whatever games y'all are playing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm watching both sides of the aisle. And you go up in this place and you say that he has documents. Now, you put them all out, say he had just try to make it look like he was doing the same thing that, Creed Joe Biden was doing. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Because if he was selling documents, you know what I'm saying, show the evidence as to whom he was selling those documents to, or whom may have seen those documents. Not accusing the fact that they were there and they could have been. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. Anyway, that's hearsay. You know what I'm saying? And then even if you went there took pictures of the documents, it still showed that you put them out into exposure, not Donald Trump. Because as long as the documents were there, we didn't know and we knew the documents were where we took them to. They were not being shown until you broke in there with some bullshit ass governmental warrants and shit saying that you going in there to search for documents and then you displayed the documents and then took a picture of it. The whole case seems bullshit to go in itself, and I guess they know that already. So now, you know what I'm saying? Then you turn around on the next hand and say that Joe Biden and his creepy ass had documents in the Corvette. Then they saying that it leaked It leaked to where they were finding out that he was telling people to go there and look at the documents and so on and so on. And he wasn't the president, like Joe Brown said. He was the senator, so he had no right to take the documents and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? So all of the matter still seems criminal in all the cases that they have against Trump, even when we talk about election fraud. Now, what election fraud is they talking about in accusing Donald J. Trump in the first place? Because if you cheated the election, you think we expected the demon Democrats to own up and say that they did? Or just how stupid can people really be? Is the question. You see, because we've seen them do this before, and we've even seen them stoop to assassination. You know what I'm saying? The lowest of the lowest standard of man. You know what I'm saying? But claiming to be superior and on top of the world and and do shit to black people. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? We've seen this before. You think they're gonna just come out and say, "Oh yeah, we have proof," and they're gonna let that proof come out saying that they cheated the election? You think they're gonna show us how they monopoly in the electoral college? Most of the people aren't even there. You know what I'm saying? Where they're at is out there on the streets or in the TV looking for some damn shit that's going on, some more confusing shit that you sent out to the Luciferian medical garbage called Black Lives Matter and the rest of them clown ass motherfuckers that made the whole fiasco show that I don't understand what we call a civilized, nation. You know what I'm saying? Because in more ways than one, and then using the name Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? So you can have the justification to do what you did in causing a massive confusion. You see, excuse me, and going up against the Republicans at the same time, causing a bad situation in the country while under the table you're doing dirt, and then that dirt becomes something that we see to prove the fact of what the matter is based on even the pandemic. And then at the same time, you bombarded them with mandates saying this, that, and the third and fourth. And then when we look over next to you, we're looking at Ukraine and Russia going to war. And many other wars, Iran, Iraq, all over the Middle East. Or what you call middle from what, I don't fucking know. But at the same time, and all this nonsense. And now the blowing up, which probably never stopped, you know what I'm saying, for 75 years, within the Gaza Strip. You see? So when we look at even the case of Donald Trump, they talking about Donald Trump trying to do interference, you know what I'm saying? How do we know that you didn't cheat the election? And how can you prove that to the people? Because you didn't prove the pandemic and you damn sure didn't prove that you didn't cheat the election from Donald J. Trump. How many people seen clear evidence, clear proof without any manipulations of ballots and without any manipulations of Xerox copying ballots, of ballot box stuffing, and all types of trickery and games that y'all play? And then try to play innocent in the court of the justification of the law investigation and forming subcommittees to investigate straight bullshit, y'all. So it was one big fiasco show on both sides because the Republicans had to have, in more ways than one, approve of the pandemical strategical moves that they did to the United States. And even when it came to uh, 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 the build back build back better plan, borrowing $1.9 trillion on this, you borrowed You mean you stole? You know what I'm saying? $1.9 trillion. Because how many people in America will actually see $1.9 trillion in their lifetime? You know what I'm saying? That's money you stole from them because where you getting the money from then? So you're printing money out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? And all this bullshit. So where you getting the money from that you could borrow the money, 1.9 trillion, build back better bullshit ass demon democratical talk bullshit plan, you know what I'm saying? And and then we go into a war, and then you send another trillion and another trillion, and all we hearing is trillions and billions. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. So we still even want to know, you know what I'm saying, what it is in this Gaza thing that y'all seem to be stuck on that you will not let go of and continue down the road with it at all times. Like damn straight. You know what I'm saying? But we see here where we even have one coming in with a high court decision on electric vehicles will make uh, will make charging for road use very difficult. I don't think we're ready for the electric cars. I think that the electric cars need a lot of improvement. You know what I'm saying? Because from what I've seen with electric cars, they might look nice riding on the road, this, that, and the third, but they really look like when it comes to charging them, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? And it's really going to be a bad situation if it ever becomes fully that and we don't have gas vehicles and so forth on to rely on, and somebody using some kind of electronical device to shut down all stuff and this and that. You know what I mean? So we really need to make some real concerned decisions when it comes to all electric vehicles and everything electric. Now, if they would make everything electric and upgrade the science of solar power and the independence of solar power for each house in itself, in its fullness, and not some bullshit, you know what I'm saying, and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? Because we need the standard of the power of the solar power to bring out produce the same amount of electric as it would produce being on the grid. You know what I'm saying? And we see Tesla rock your ass, but you ain't let him get away with it. But we see even the minister, Louis Farrakhan, sue Anti-Defamation League for almost $5 billion for claims of anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, claims of anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? And nobody should be accusing anyone of anti-Semitic in no shape or form, really. Even when it comes to your different religions. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes is the teapot calling the kettle black. You know what I'm saying? Because we're seeing the same type of behavior in all of your religions based on justifying slavery, murder, killing, and all types of devil worship connections. That seems to be what you're speaking of in more ways than one, because your action speaks louder than words. You know what I'm saying? Because one cannot believe a book and a book only. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we see where he sues uh, for claims of anti-Semitic. The nation, the NOI, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Nation of Islam claims that civil rights group is interfering with the First Amendment right. You know what I'm saying? But we see the Nation of Islam Mayor Minister Louis Farrakhan has filed a $5 billion lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League for falsely criticizing him and his as an anti-Semitic, according to the Newsweek Post. You know what I'm saying? According to the New York Post, you know what I'm saying? The claim was filed in a Manhattan federal court. You know what I'm saying? Accusing the civil rights group. You know what I'm saying? Of interfering with his First Amendment rights. You know what I'm saying? And the lawsuit, and this lawsuit ensures that the abuse and misuse of, the abuse and misuse and the false use of the term anti-Semite, and anti-Semitic and anti-Semitism as falsely charged by the uh, ADL, you know what I'm saying, is permanently barred from being a tool to defame uh, Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, and you know what I'm saying, stripe the exercise of constitutional rights and claim red. In the suit, Farrakhan said that the Anti-Defamation League is an un-American organization and has woven itself into a fabric of both the United States government in general and into local government within America, in particular to advance interests that are un-American, to the extent that it tramples and trampicize upon the constitutional rights of Mayor Minister Farrakhan and American citizens. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the Nation of Islam, first of all, Mr. Mayor Louis Farrakhan have a right to say anything he wants to say in this country because first of all, his religion and his teaching is of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And Islam, to me, really belongs to black people in itself. To me, it seemed like it was kind of stolen in many ways. You know what I'm saying? So I'm drinking my water. In many ways. So we have to look at this whole situation for what it really is in the manner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people sit up here and speak of this and speak of that, but when we look at the people who are claiming that he's anti-Semitic, when we look at their history, we see more than anti-Semitism. We see complete racism and vulgarity of human rights violation against the people of their very own country and black people and many other races of people as a whole. But in general, we know that the evangelical is going to be easy for them in more ways than one, but at the same time, the atrocities still take place. So when they talk about anti-Semitism, they need to cut it out because it don't look good, even on the Jewish side as well. Now, when we look at the Jewish side of things, you do not want nobody to really go into the historical breakdown and background of your situation. Nobody wants to really get into all of that. And when we look at Islam, we see the same corruption and the same garbage in itself. When we look at Christianity, the same vibe. So where in the world is all three of you arguing about some damn anti-Semitism? It seems to be very unintelligent and very ridiculous. So man, I side with Mayor Minister Louis Farrakhan on this one. I side with him because you can't speak about Mr. Farrakhan and you can't speak and Mr. Farrakhan has a right to actually speak about your group in all ways, but you hide your side very well. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We could say the same in more ways than one. But at the same time, like I said, calling each other uh, anti-Semitic and all this different stuff is used to block the truth from being revealed. Doesn't really work anymore. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, like I said, I side with Man Minister Farrakhan on this one because he has a right to say what he has to say, and he has a right to speak about it in all ways, in the truthness and the light and the truth of the light of the matter in which he's speaking about. And if he's speaking about a certain group of it, who is he going to speak about? Aliens that he cannot see from another planet, as you would say? He has to speak about the truth here on planet Earth, doesn't he? You know what I'm saying? Just because you may play silent in games that you play, and then when we look at the Gaza Strip, we see the same stuff going on in the trickery and in building and so on and so on. So nobody have time to really sit there with anti-Semitism. And like I said, the man Minister Farrakhan has a legitimate suit because we're tired of hearing about that stupid word anyway. You know what I'm saying? And who is you to tell him that he's anti-Semitic when you ain't have no right to even be where you are in Egypt right now? So let's just be frank and get up off the minister's back. You know what I'm saying? That's what you really need to do. You know what I'm saying? But today we're gonna do some back news as well. You know, after the commentary and looking at what's going on with the minister. You know what I'm saying? So Louis Farrakhan. Me and him have our disagreements. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure many do. But at the same time, if the minister is leading something to where it go, then so shall it be. What the result is at the end of his time and his legacy and the trueness in which he would bring forward is what I'm looking for of the greatness of his legacy that will live on throughout time. You had your controversy on one hand in the Malcolm X situation, and that is past tense news, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you have put forward an effort to make amends and say how it should have been said in all ways and what articulation. We're not going to go down because I'm not into condemning, no, none of that. But one thing that they must stop doing is accusing him of anti Semitism because the historical fact of Islam, even in Africa and so on and so on, and we know what goes on over there up to today with the same nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So, as long as the minister is speaking the truth and putting it forward, I don't see why you should be calling him that. He should be calling you that. But, you know, he has a right to sue you for that one. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a personal attack on him because you don't want him to say certain things based on certain groups, race, and culture. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to look at some bad news on this and kind of cruise through, you know what I'm saying, all this other things. You know what I'm saying? But we still do see criminal work going on. But where we was before, I think it was, let's see here, I think, yeah, we did that already. You know what I'm saying? So let's go here and see. Oh yeah, we have Franny Wills. She up there talking about she was angry and hurt because of personal attacks during the prosecution of Trump. Well, I got news for Fannie Wills. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, it's an easy one to Fannie Wills. Grow up. Grow up. Nobody with the jokes. Nobody really with the jokes. You know what I'm saying? We see Supreme Court squashes, it looks like, the 2024 long shot Kennedy 14th Amendment case, you know what I'm saying, which we heard about. You know what I'm saying? We see more than 100 retired generals sign open letter to greet Joe Biden in Congress to support Israel. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Well, you signed a letter to ask Joe Biden to defend Israel. It's not the case. What is the case is we have to come to some form of ceasefire. That's the first thing. You can't do no negotiations or come to some kind of coexistence, you know what I'm saying, if you're firing bombs and bullets at each other, you know what I'm saying, and you're trying to wipe off the matter, genocidal murder or a whole race of people that was there before you got there. It sounds like the same thing when you're talking about the Trail of Tears, you know what I'm saying? It seems like the same thing. You know what I mean? 75 years for real would piss off anybody. Look at what you did to the Africans in more ways than one, and the confusion that had taken place across Africa, even with black people and kings and so forth on. And many of these different people that were supposed to be a leadership of African people have been accused of the same type of behavior as well. You know what I'm saying? So Fannie Wills need to grow up, you know what I'm saying? But we see this one is coming in by, it looks like Keelan Dees, you know what I'm saying, Supreme Court reporter, October 22nd, you know what I'm saying, 2023 at 1:02 p.m. on the late Dizzy with the one Twizzy, you know what I'm saying? Well, we see the Supreme Court, you know what I'm saying?